Welcome back. So this is your practice video on this skill. And so instead of playing music, we're just going to do it step by step. So if you had your test, you wouldn't have to draw this. If you had your a worksheet or a classwork assignment, you wouldn't have to draw this. But when you're taking your benchmark or the Georgia milestone, and you need to work it out on your scratch paper, you might have to draw the shape so that you can color it in and find your parts. And so the first thing that I'm going to ask you guys to do is to at least try to duplicate this picture. Now, I traced this first picture because I wanted to make sure you could see the model. But I'm going to now draw it really big so that everybody can see all parts, and hopefully you will be able to do that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say I am not an artist, nor do I try to be. But with drawing, you always want to find the most basic shape. So the first shape I see is this rectangle. So I drew this rectangle bigger. Now I see I have two lines pushing towards the left corner of my paper. And then I'm going to connect those lines. So there's my top piece. And the good thing is you're just practicing, so if it's not drawn perfectly to scale, it's okay. But now I see I've got to come down, go in, and come down. So it's probably easier for me to draw this piece, and then I'm going to go all the way up until I get to that horizontal line, which is there. And then I'm going to come over. I'm probably going to pull this line down first. It's about how long I want that. Then I'm going to come over. And then I'm going to connect it. So if it's not perfect, it's close, then we're okay. And so for me, being a perfectionist, I would fix this part right here. But in order to solve our problem today, we won't need it. Now I need to go back and I need to label all my pieces. So this is 6 inches. This is going to be 18 inches. 10 inches. 12 inches. 5 inches. And so now all my numbers are labeled. So we have the same shape, drawn a little bit bigger. Again, not an artist. Part of me wants to do this and fix it. But anyway, so that part's not important because all we need are those numbers. So I'm going to take my first color, and I've got to see the first rectangle. And the first rectangle is going to stop right here. And then I'm going to shade everything below. And on my drawing, I'm going to see my same line here. I'm going to shade everything below it. Same thing. It's not perfect, but it's enough for us to be able to gather information for our problem. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to put box 1. And we probably should get in the habit of putting volume of box 1. Alright, so from left to right of this shape, it tells me it's 12 inches. Times, now from the front to the back, that is when our corner piece comes in. But we can't see it because of the way the shape is. But it's going to be our 10 inches that you're missing, that you can't see. That's 10 inches. Because that's how wide this piece is, and this piece would be the same. Alright? And then from the ground to the sky. Well, they already tell us from the ground to this point is 18 inches. So now, remember sometimes I said we always have friendly numbers and then sometimes we don't have friendly numbers? And so today we have a number crunching situation where you just have to multiply it out. Whichever method that you choose to multiply. But I am going to go ahead and multiply 12 times 18 because then I know if I'm multiplying by 10, I just add a 0 because we're adding another place value. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply that out. 12 times 18. 12 times 8 is 96. Put 0, and then we get 120 because we're multiplying it by a 10. 6, 11, 216. So now we have 216 times 10, which is going to be 0, 0, 0, 0, 6, 1, 2, 2, 1, 6, 0 inches cubed. 2,100 inches cubed. Now, some of you didn't have to multiply this out by 10. You just know the rules of multiplying with zeros, and so you would have just put a 0 on the end. But for those of you who didn't, it's okay. We just did that for you. Alright, so now I've got to figure out this other box. Our yellow box. So that's going to be our box 2. Now, my left to right in my yellow box is still what? 12. So 12 inches times from the front to the back of the shape is going to be our 10 inches. And then the ground to the sky is just, let's go back to our little drawing so you can see. It's just this little piece. So here it's just this little piece, and it's telling us that that's going to be 5 inches. And I love the fact that I see some friendly numbers because I know my 12 facts. So 12 times 5 is going to give me 60 inches times 10 inches. And if you know your 0 rules, that's going to be 60 with 1 0. Or you could have done 6 times 1 is 6 and then 2 zeros, whichever way you prefer. Inches cubed. And now to finish it off, we have to add them together. So we get 2,160 inches cubed plus 600 inches cubed. It's going to give me 0,672. 2,760 inches cubed. Again, we're going to do some practice with this model in class this week, but we also have to move on to this week's skill, and hopefully we can master both a little bit more this week. Bye, guys.